Here we go. Let's get this one copied over. I guess I'll have to mute this so I don't sound like a goof. All right. What's up, everybody? I'm hiding my face for a particular reason. Yeah, I know. The top of my head is riveting. I was sending out the links to people so they could watch. How's everybody doing tonight? James Sid, you want to watch some wrestling? Yep. So if you want to watch some wrestling, actually Kurt Angle just shared his match with Shane McMahon over social media from King of the Ring 2001. That's a good one to check out. For those of you wondering, I know this live stream just started, but for those of you wondering why exactly I'm covering my face, I'm sure you remember on a previous live stream and on the No DQ predictions panel that if Kofi Kingston became the WWE champion, that I would shave my beard into the form of, you remember Triple H's beard, 2006. It's basically what Scott Dawson has now. So I would do that. So, yeah, the handlebar mustache, Boston Punk. So, I am a man of my word. So, might as well not waste your time any longer. Good. I can breathe. See? Got it done. Got it all done. Hope you guys enjoy that little setup. Let's see here. All right, let me get this set up right here. All right, I do have that muted. Sweet. Looks like the entrance to a tunnel. Yeah, the lighting's a little weird in here. Let me see if I can brighten it up at all. Yeah, it's not a bad look. My wife laughed at me for it. GG Vision, I'm just reading some of them. Ken terminated by Google, actually. $5 super chat. Good job defeating the legendary Jeff Meacham. Also, thank you for answering all my questions and never putting me in timeout. Frankly, your beard looks good. Well, I appreciate the fact that you guys like it. I thought it'd be something different. I haven't actually had this facial hair since 2006. It's the first time I've done it in a while. So, you know, I may keep it. I don't know. All right, let me look at... there we go. Is that a little better? It's a little brighter. Need to knock down the brightness of this. I'm all sorts of flustered. I meant to start this at 3 o'clock, and I was a little late doing it. But it's okay. The Real AC says I'm getting a Harley Race vibe. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. I think that's why Triple H went with the beard in 2005, 2006. Because he's a big Harley Race guy. Also, with the super chats going on, I figured it'd only be proper to bring back the Wheel of Pensen, naturally, as I have a bunch of stuff in this room. But like I said, this is all sorts of clustered. Yeah, there we go. Now you can see. There you go. Looking good. Yeah, you can see how that's all going. So, same rules as usual. I have that set up. I don't have that set up right. I'm all sorts of flustered today trying to get this. Dom Wooding's asking when we start in Season 7 of Wrestling Trivia Challenge. Jeff, Aaron, and I actually have to discuss that. We meant to talk about that, and we just haven't gotten around to talking about Season 7 yet. Now that WrestleMania week's over, I'm sure we can get into it. Chris Mace, I think you should do another tournament to determine a new challenger for your title. The tournament was a success. I thought so. It seemed like it was split. Some people liked the tournament because it really did determine a great challenger, and some people didn't because they were like, oh, you didn't defend your title. Well, I did defend my title against the tournament winner and still beat him, and then I beat Jeff in the Iron Man. What's up, Greg? Congrats on the Iron Man match. That's from Nelson Marino. Thank you, Nelson. Yeah, it was a tough one. Yeah, first of all, I've stated this before. The Iron Man match was recorded ahead of time, and some people actually thought I cheated by reading the live chat to get some of my answers. It's like anything to tear down my reign as champion, you know? But anyway, while we're on the subject, as Ken sent the first super chat of the day. Is this top chat or live chat? I thought it was in live chat. Wheel Pen said, $20 super chat. Any multiple 20, you get multiple spins. You guys know the deal. You've seen me do the entrances. You've seen me. I've yet to give away a t-shirt, surprisingly. I don't know how. I spun this thing a few times to see if I could land on a t-shirt. I still haven't. The wheel's not rigged like the Raw Roulette wheel. Don't worry about that. But I want to give away a t-shirt. I want to give away a t-shirt. I mean, granted, it's a $20 super chat to give the wheel spin, but I still want to give away one of my t-shirts. So if the wheel lands on t-shirt, then I'll get your information later and send you the shirt of your choice. I'm not going to just randomly pick one for you because I'll need your size and your address and all that crap. But yeah, $20 super chat, $20 Streamlabs. I'm sure you noticed the Streamlabs thing right about here, right about there. Yeah, Streamlabs. That should come across to me. I'm not sure why. Yeah, it should come across to me. If you say you sent Streamlabs, I may have to open it to see. But yeah, hopefully we get a few of those. Hopefully I do some entrances or tell you stories or give away t-shirts. This is my goal. Hit this. There's 3 spots for t-shirts on this wheel. All right. Anyway, back to it. Ken Terminated by Google says, let me go backwards. I agree, but have a twist with Season 7, Dom Wooding says. What is it? Tell me. Chris Mace, you earned the title, Greg. I did. I beat Jeff and Chris Cass in a triple threat match last year to win the title, and I've kept it ever since. GG Vision says, you went too long as an established champ. Got to fill spots to find somebody proper. You know, that's going to try and be the goal of Season 7. We're going to talk about how we can find some good challengers for me, because we've seen people come on the show that are all talk and I blow them out. So we want to get more people that are on the level of myself or Jeff or Chris Cass or David Diaz, or Mark, Brian Zane even. We want to get people on that level to be significant challengers, because yeah, it's fantastic that I hold the belt forever and I love winning and I love defending the belt because it's fun for me. Even when I get pissed off because I'm losing, it's all part of the game. I understand that. It's the way it is, and I'd like to keep that reign going. But, you know, when I beat people that don't even have a shot against me, it's like, okay, well, you know, I'm still champion, yay, but I like the challenge. Maybe that's just me. Ken Terminated by Google says, when Greg answered the David Jericho question, I'm thinking, did Cherry see my answer? No, like I said, that we recorded it ahead of time, and I just pulled that answer of Kid Cash out of my ass. Just being completely honest with you guys. GG Vision says, King of the Trivia Ring. I mean, that's basically what the tournament was. The real AC, the Ace of Spades song was in the 1982 BBC sitcom The Young Ones. I don't get to watch a lot of BBC. Ken Terminated by Google says, did you watch a lot of ECW tapes? I remember David Tyler, Morton Jericho. You know what? Original ECW I'm terrible with. So I'm amazed I got as many questions with that in the Iron Man as I did. Don Wooding says, fan favorites versus no DQ staff of their choice, and best 2 out of 3 versus you in the finals. 2 out of 3 falls. That'd be about 60 questions, all said and done. That would be interesting. I think a 2 out of 3 falls final for season 7, that could be good. Because if I lose one fall, then I still have the other 2. That's definitely something to consider. Chase Games, what are your thoughts on the... Where'd it go? I just had it. What are your thoughts on the Sasha and Bayley situation from Chase Games? You know, I've been waiting for my opportunity to talk about the Sasha and Bayley thing. I have seen them get a lot of crap online, especially on Twitter. And people saying, oh, yeah, she should just leave. She sucks. She's terrible. It's like, slow your roll a second. I mean, anybody who's been upset with WWE in the past, whether it's the Revival, whether it's, anybody who's actually left the company, Ty Dillinger, they'd be like, oh, yeah, be successful elsewhere. Why is it different for Sasha and Bayley? Sasha and Bayley, quite frankly, have more of a case than any of the aforementioned people because they are 2 of the most incredibly talented people on the roster. The main roster has just... Even with Sasha's 4 title reigns, which have not lasted very long, or 4 women's championship reigns and her tag team title reign, I think they have a beef. They need to be used in a manner that they are not on the back burner. And Sasha and Bayley, for the longest time, have not been important on Raw ever since Ronda Rousey came to Raw. Even though Sasha and Bayley both had a match against Rousey, they were not the focus. And they were never going to be the focus as long as Rousey was there. So for an entire year, they've had to take a back seat. And they completely screwed up the storyline where Bayley turned on Sasha. They ruined that in a commercial break, literally. Because Bayley beat down Sasha and it was so hot, and then they come back from commercial break and immediately it cools off. How can you fast track a storyline that quickly to kill it? It drove me nuts. I think Sasha and Bayley have a beef. I've always been a Sasha Banks fan, and I'm not going to shy away from that. I'm not going to. I've stood with Sasha this long. I'm not going to turn my back on her now. I think she has a beef. Maybe she goes to SmackDown. Maybe her and Bayley both go to SmackDown and start something new there. They need a career resurgence, and on Raw, they are not going to get it, even with Rousey gone. Period end. Chris Mays, Greg is the best champion. That is why a new tournament with new 16 people would be good. Well, if we can find 16 more people, there have been people who said that they want to challenge me and stuff. Hey, if you do not get your information into the nodqmisc@gmail.com address, you don't get your Skype information or your availability there, you're not going to challenge for the title. If you want to challenge for the title, send your stuff to that email. I don't know how many times we've had to say it over the course of the last year. If you want to challenge me for the title, you got to reach out and put forth the effort. Chris Mays also says, how about inviting the Solo Monster? Rift has tried to get him on several times, and he's just never responded. So if he has no interest, he has no interest. You can't force somebody to be on the Wrestling Trivia Challenge. If he doesn't want to be on, he doesn't want to be on. Hey, Greg, what were your thoughts on Big Vito when he was on the review consistently saying Carmella would cash in on a male champion? I actually said something to the effect of if Charlotte would have won that Money in the Bank, she would have cashed in on a male champion. But they don't do the intergender stuff. I know we had that little blip of it at the Royal Rumble, but they don't do the intergender stuff anymore. So I don't know how that would work. But if any female was going to cash in on a male talent, it would probably be Charlotte. That's the way it is. The Real AC says, personally, I think Sasha and Bayley should, in honesty, leave, but sadly, this company can't let them. You know, it's WWE's fault for booking themselves into a corner. I mean, granted, the Ronda, Charlotte, Becky match for the main event was the right way to go. You can say what you want about the finish. Becky won the match. That's all that matters in the end. But Sasha and Bayley losing the tag team championships not even 2 months after winning it, does that really increase the prestige of the women's tag team titles? You would think they would have a solid first reign before losing them, and they didn't. I mean, their inaugural reign was not that great. Of course, neither was the Universal title. Universal title, Finn Balor won it and had to relinquish it the next day. GG Vision, you really have hit a stupid, impressive level of trivia. Might take other big established wrestling brands like What Culture at this point. Hey, they can try. Everybody thought, especially in the last couple days leading up to the Iron Man match, that I was going to lose my championship. And we kept all the no DQ people in the dark. The only people in the world who knew was Jeff, myself, and Aaron. We were the only ones that knew. And we kept everybody in the dark. We basically kayfabed everybody. And Big G still owes me money, by the way, if he's watching. But yeah, we didn't tell anybody. We acted like, I mean, Jeff acted like he had basically won the match. I acted like, you know, whatever. The Iron Man match happened. It's going to be intense. And whatever happens, happens. So we're not obviously going to tell people 2 weeks in advance who won the match, because then you wouldn't want to watch. Let's see. Ratnick, WWE acts like Sasha wasn't a part of the women's revolution. Her and Charlotte proved the women can main event. It's not even... Sasha and Charlotte wasn't even the first women's main event. It was Sasha and Bayley in the Iron Man match at NXT TakeOver Respect. It was that one that really put them on the map. And that match was fantastic. And that match was some of Sasha's best heel work. Ripping the headband off of Izzy, throwing it back in her face after mocking her when Bayley gets counted out for a fall. So good. It was so freaking good. I remember watching that match back. I was like, man, Sasha is just so incredible. And why they haven't utilized that. Why they've just like made Sasha this bland babyface character. It's not the same boss as it was in NXT. And a lot of people want NXT call-ups to be the same as they were in NXT. Look how well that worked with Sanity. Are they even around anymore? Got an ad. Okay. Boston Punk, you're challenging me for the next season. Hey, submit your information. Ken Terminated by Google says, if I want to be a wrestling trivia challenge competitor, do I literally study 80s and modern era wrestling? You basically have to... It's hard to know what to study specifically. And you say the Spotify questions are tough to study. They're really not. Especially if you really enjoy listening to wrestling themes. I do, personally. The Spotify and the no DQ questions are probably the easiest things actually to study, because you can go to Spotify and it's just right there. You go to the nodq.com section, you go to the awards and the Hall of Fame, and it's all right there. That's probably the easiest thing to study. As far as the rest of wrestling, you either know it or you don't. Depends on how big of a fan you are. And I have gaps too. Like, I've been champion this long, but I have gaps. It's all a matter of the questions that are asked. Chase Games. Honestly, Sasha, to me, is like a female CM Punk. She got all these opportunities and such, and then bitched and moaned when things didn't go her way. Don't compare Sasha to Punk. I mean... First of all, Sasha's on vacation. She didn't, like, walk away from the company for a while. But she is frustrated. I understand the comparison. I understand the comparison to the fact that people are frustrated with their position, but she didn't up and walk out on the company. Yeah. I let that sit too long. Yeah, that's that was gross. Yeah, Sasha. We'll see what happens with the superstar shakeup. I feel like something has to happen with Sasha and Bayley, whether they stay on Raw or they go to SmackDown. Somebody has to turn. There just has to be something bigger for this, and if there's not, then maybe Sasha and Bayley have a point wanting to leave. I don't know if I believe all the reports that have come out about her and the way they're acting either. Basically throwing a tantrum on the floor at WrestleMania. I don't believe that at all. I think Ryan Satin's full of shit, personally. Riff says you have to study up, down, down if Greg is hosting. I only do like one question an episode, if that. But you know what? Up, down, down. Like the video of Xavier Woods singing Batista's theme. If you don't follow Battle of the Brands on Up, down, down, you wouldn't appreciate how much that has been building to that particular moment. Chris Mace, will Chris Cass return to host the next season? We've actually talked about Jeff hosting. That's not confirmed by any sort of the imagination yet. We haven't discussed season 7, but that's been something that's been brought up. You miss the WWE draft. I miss it too. The superstar shakeup, it doesn't feel as important because people just move and there's no reason for it. At least with a draft, or the way they used to do it when Raw and SmackDown compete against each other, and even with NXT, NXT could jump in there as well. But they'd probably be treated like ECW was back in the day. You have the Raw and SmackDown superstars, they face off, a Raw guy wins, then somebody who's drafted to Raw, SmackDown guy wins, somebody who's drafted to SmackDown, etc., etc. And there were some really special moves when that happened. Now with the superstar shakeup, it just kind of happens and you're just supposed to deal with it. Ken, do you mean Jeff hosting Wrestling Trivia Challenge? Because I don't know if he watches enough Up, Down, Down to host that. GG Vision. Yeah, I hope Sasha stays too. Have fun at work. You get bored, you can follow me back. You gave me a follow on Twitter. Appreciate it. I tried to get this video up on my channel and it didn't work. Well, it works, but there's not as many people that follow me on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/luchatthedraw. I just uploaded a bunch of old backyard wrestling videos I used to do there. Uploaded some of my sarcastic commentary series, which I think would be... I may, if Rift allows me to, do some sarcastic commentary for the channel. Maybe not my old stuff, but just to get people to realize what it is, and then put the stuff on my channel also. Yeah, Jeff hosting Wrestling Trivia Challenge is fine as long as he doesn't come up with the questions. I know I've brought this up before, but the match that Jeff hosted between myself and Kyle, he came up with the questions, and they were the most asinine things I've ever heard in my life. Between Kyle and I, we amassed 8 points out of 20. If that means anything to you. Chris Mace asked me, when would you have wanted Bayley and Sasha to drop the titles and to who? I think they should have held on to them at least to like NXT TakeOver Toronto, and then drop them to Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir. Just make the other 4 horsewomen, the MMA 4 horsewomen, an even more powerful stable. Because I think you would have Baszler retain the women's championship all the way up to that point, and probably beyond that, because really there's nobody that's going to touch her for that title. And yeah, it was Interstate Kyle. Ken. So I would have had Bayley and Sasha hold the championships for at least 5-6 months and then drop them to Shafir and Duke, who I know they're not as talented as some of the other women on the roster. That's fine. But if you want to jumpstart the horsewomen versus horsewomen thing, that's kind of how you would do it. It's just my personal opinion. That opportunity is wasted now that the Iconics have it. Unless Sasha and Bayley get a rematch and win them back. Angle versus Corbin was Kurt Angle's first Bad Mania match. Did you watch his match with Kane at WrestleMania 18? That one was kind of an ugly finish. I had no problem with Corbin winning. I've been a Corbin guy for years. Top 10 wrestlers of all time, the Cole Brothers Radio Podcast. That's Jeff Meacham at number 1. You have Austin above Shawn, really? I guess it is what it is. Anyway, well, I'm basically caught up with the chat. Plug in the wheel pen cent again. $20 super chat. Get you an opportunity. Yeah, I know somebody mentioned that it'd be cheaper to get the pro wrestling t-shirt by not spinning the wheel. That's not exactly true because you spin the wheel for the $20, I would be paying the shipping, so you actually get a little bit of a discount that way. And I don't believe there's a sale going on right now. So you spend $20 and get these. I may do a bet at some point where it'd be like half price spins or something, but Riff says Jeff Meacham is the best. Jeff Meacham, number 1. The real AC wasn't just bad, it was abhorrent. You know, that shouldn't be on Corbin. It's really Angle wasn't in the condition to have a Kurt Angle match. So you can't put that on Corbin. They did what they could, and I mean, Corbin gave Angle the end of days, and it worked. Yes, abhorrent is a word. Like I said, I like Corbin. I kind of hope he goes to SmackDown and gets like a decent push there, and maybe feuds with Kofi Kingston over the WWE Championship. A lot of people might throw up at that, be like, "Oh, Corbin in the main event spot. Oh, why would you want that ever?" Because Corbin gets heat, and his finishing moves, the end of days, and the deep six are freaking sweet. I love them. It is what it is. Rift asked a question to the chat: who will benefit the most from switching brands? I think Corbin could be one. I think Strowman could be one. I think Sasha and Bayley going to SmackDown would be good. As far as the SmackDown side, I think the Usos have done as much as they can on SmackDown, so I think they go to Raw. For the women, I would send... I don't even know who you would send. I'd send Naomi over to Raw, too, if you're sending the Usos. You might as well. Might need to send another woman. Send Truth and Carmella over there. Send Tyler Breeze to SmackDown so they can make more episodes of GM mode faster. And, I don't know. Cherry Mark 23. Yeah, what a fantastic name. Greg, what's next for New Day now that Big E is injured? Well, Kofi's the WWE champion, so obviously that'll continue. He'll probably just have Woods by his side. I believe he's not going to be out for too long. I think it's just like minor knee surgery that he needs. So he'll probably be out a couple months. But he should be back without much of an issue, hopefully. So Kofi's just going to do his thing as the WWE champion. And the real AC says you liked Angle and Kane versus WrestleMania 18. That finish, though, that like roll-up or whatever Angle was trying to do, Angle and Kane, it was really bad. Chris Cahill, were you fine as Cena coming out as the Doctor of Thugonomics interrupting Elias? That was fantastic. It was about time Cena came back with the Doctor of Thugonomics. It probably won't be a full-time thing. as much as a lot of people would like it to be, but it was a nice surprise, and it was a welcome surprise. Boston Punk says Boston Hug, Strowman, New Day, AJ Styles. I don't know if you need to move the New Day because you can't really move the New Day unless you're going to move Rollins to SmackDown. If you're going to switch the WWE Champion, you have to switch the Universal Champion. I mean, that's just how that works. You switch the main titles, you switch the mid card titles, because you're not going to have all of them on one show. You know what I mean? Oh, you would switch. Okay, I just read a little bit further down. Chase Games. I wish Corbin would go back to his original outfit before his GM role or some different. Just get rid of the GM clothes. I agree with that. I think he needs. I don't know. He needs some kind of gear, but I guess the shirt and pants work for him. Maybe they figure, hey, it'll get him heat still if he dresses like that. Ken Terminated by Google says, I'd like the new Daniel Bryan to go to Raw and feud with Rollins. That would be interesting. Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins feuding over the Universal title. Who had the best entrance at Mania? I liked Black, Ricochet, and Batista. Well, if you watch Up, Up, Down, Down, you need to watch Xavier Woods react to Batista's entrance because it is fantastic. Hi, Zach Rosser. How you doing? Danny310, you need a haircut. No disrespect. No, you're right. I do. Boston Punk, can I just ask why the hell Cena, a man from Massachusetts, was wearing a Yankees jersey? I get that they were in New York, but come on. It's not the first time either. He wore it when he first did the Thugonomics gimmick, and he was in Boston to get heel heat. So I know he bleeds Boston colors. He's a Red Sox fan. He just did it because they were in New York. So it's not that Woods reacting to Batista's better than Batista. Yeah. Seriously, if you guys haven't watched Battle of the Brands on Up, Up, Down, Down, go back to the beginning. They're like almost a year deep in it, and watch it because it is fantastic. Chase Games say you should bleach your mustache and grow a beard to be like Hollywood Hogan. I'm pretty sure the wife would not be a fan of that. The Real IC says Punk was right. Cena has become the New York Yankees. Yeah, he wore the Yankees jersey, came out with the Babe Ruth number on the back. And Babe Ruth used to play for the Red Sox too, so that's Boston Punk. I love this theme song. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What a song. Oh, that video was so good. I love Xavier Woods. I mean, I love Up, Up, Down, Down. I love watching the stuff on the channel. Him and Breeze are just so funny together. They used to be roommates, so that probably has something to do with it. Cherry Mark 23. I'm sick of fans saying Sasha Banks is joining AEW. Does every superstar have to go to AEW? No, and I don't know why. Oh, wrestlers upset. They're going to AEW. It's like, everybody, just slow your roll. They haven't had a show yet. It's like, let's see. I don't want to diminish what AEW is doing and the impact that they're going to have, but let them have a show first and then be like, oh, AEW is awesome. And it's like, okay, they've been in existence for a few months and all they've done is sell T-shirts. I know that's a typical thing to say, but just wait till they run Double or Nothing next month. And then start all the stuff of where people are going. Will provide opportunities? I'm sure it will. I'm sure Sasha and Bayley, if they wanted to go to AEW, would be big stars there. It's just the way it is. Yeah, Austin Creed is fun to watch on Up, Up, Down, Down. Especially, I'm not sure whether it's more enjoyable whether he loses or whether... I feel like I am Xavier Woods, Austin Creed. Because when he loses, he is not a happy person. But when he wins, he's overly arrogant about it. And I was like, Austin Creed's my spirit animal. I just have to say that. The Real AC says WWE is so lost now we're not even going to bother to send a search party. Yeah, they have to figure that out. Maybe the Superstar shakeup will help. I don't know. Matt Phillips reviews. Why don't they have women refs in women's matches? They do in NXT. I don't know if they don't feel comfortable with women referees on the main roster. I think they only have one, honestly, and she works NXT. Samir Ahmad, will WWE ever push Samoa Joe to the top tier? He's being wasted just like Shinsuke and Rusev. I don't see how he's being wasted. He's the United States champion right now. He just dominated Mysterio at WrestleMania, which, granted, Mysterio was injured, but it made Joe look really good. And he did have that WWE Championship feud with AJ Styles. He just didn't win. I don't know. I don't know if they'll ever go full-blown WWE champion with Samoa Joe. But the problem is with the main roster, even with two separate brands, that not everybody is going to be WWE champion. Which this is in an era post Jinder Mahal being WWE champion. It all depends on what they want to do. Ken terminated by Google. If Ambrose goes to AEW, because I know you meant AEW, not up, down, down. You've got the channel on the brain, Ken. I wouldn't be surprised if Cody treats him as a top talent. Why wouldn't you treat a former WWE champion as a top talent? I mean, if you use Ambrose correctly, if he goes like old school John Moxley, then he may very well be one of the top guys in AEW if he decides to go there. Chris Mays, what WWE star would be good in New Japan? I saw that somewhere. Well, who was it that was talking about leaving? The Good Brothers, Anderson and Gallows. I mean, they already were good in New Japan. Why not go back? But that's if the club stays together. I don't know if they will or not. Boston Punk says, I'm a huge Woods Creed fan. Met him back in the FCW days. He lived near us in Southwest Florida when I was there for a few years. I'd love to meet Xavier Woods. I know there was a contest a while ago, or it was like a charity buzz thing, where if you donate a certain amount of money, you could be on Up, Down, Down. It was like, the bid was up to like $1,500. I'm like, I don't have that kind of money. As much as I wish I did, I don't. Let's see. Real IC says AEW is a pissant company till May 25th, and we'll see who's the real feckless pissant. Yeah, I mean, until AEW runs their first show, it's all speculation until then. Chris Cahill, I don't get why people say Randy Orton's style of wrestling is boring, but the RKO is the most over finisher today. Prime example, a student tried to do it to his principal or teacher. I don't know if you want to use that as an example of a finisher being over, is that somebody used it in a setting where it wasn't supposed to be used. I mean, I never tried to RKO any of my teachers. Even if they deserved it. Yeah. Ken terminated by Google. Punk was that before Woods was Consequences Creed. Yeah, okay. Ratnick says the XFL is a pissant company. Hopefully the XFL has better luck than the AAF. Yeah, they did a big pile of nothing. Cherry Mark 23. Who do you see beating Kofi and Rollins for their respective championships? I don't know why I feel like Reigns is going to beat Rollins, but that's even if it's hard to say, especially with the Superstar Shakeup coming up this week, because I could say somebody and they could be on the opposite show by the end of the week. So I couldn't tell you. Boston Punk, I love the Kofi Woods hotel video when the Pats won the Super Bowl a few years ago. Yeah, Kofi was very excited about that. Woods, not so much. Of course, the Falcons blew a 25-point lead and basically gave that game up. Unreal. Ken terminated by Google says, I can see McIntyre beating Kingston for the world title. They're no strangers to each other. That's true. That's very true. Let's see, where are we at? Antonio Jones says, just because Good Brothers and BCOGs doesn't mean the Bucks and Cody are just itching to bring in old friends. It's possible. I can't speculate what people are going to do with their careers. We can all assume, we can say, oh, yeah, well, they have to go, if they get released from WWE or whatever the case may be, that they're going to go here, they're going to go here. It's whatever they decide is best for their careers. If going to AEW is not in the plans, don't be upset. They could go to New Japan. They could just work the indie circuit. There's a lot of success there. If you're a former WWE star, chances are you're going to have a lot of success on the indie circuit and make a decent amount of money. Let's see. Samir Ahmad, what are some top 2-3 matches you'd like to see at next year's Mania? Rollins versus Reigns? Next year WrestleMania, I don't even know who would be around at next year's WrestleMania to even predict that. Like I said, I don't even know who's going to be on what show next week, and we're already talking about next year's WrestleMania. I don't know. Do you want to do like... I want to see AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins because I don't think they've ever done that match. I'm pretty sure that even in their time in the Indies, I don't think they've ever had a match against each other. Which seems so weird, especially with all the journeys they've had, that they've never crossed paths. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. If AJ and Rollins have ever gone one-on-one, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they ever have. Chase Game says Great Cherry versus Seth Rollins. Hey, Wrestling Trivia Challenge champion against the Universal Champion. I'll take it. The Real AC says, I personally do see Andrade Cien Almas becoming a future WWE champion. Well, you know, he could win Money in the Bank. He could win Money in the Bank and cash in on either the Universal or WWE champion. I actually booked a storyline in my head where Andrade came in on like an episode of SmackDown. Whoever was WWE champion lost, and then Andrade would cash in on the new champion and become champion himself. Cherry Mark, they clashed at Survivor Series 16. Yeah, they did, but that wasn't one-on-one. They were part of the Survivor Series. They were part of the Survivor Series match. That wasn't a one-on-one match. Chris Cahill, they did face off once in the Indies like 10, 12 years ago. Okay, I wasn't sure. I don't follow the Indies as much as a lot of people do, so I wasn't sure if they had ever gone one-on-one. They definitely haven't gone one-on-one in WWE. I know that for a fact. All right, so the Real AC says, as for Universal Champion, I would actually rather see McIntyre, Balor, or AJ Styles. I mean, it's very possible that AJ moves to Raw and could challenge Seth Rollins. Who knows, though? I mean, you could have the bar split up. You could have Sheamus stay on SmackDown and Cesaro go to Raw. If you want a singles run for them, they've basically done all they can as a tag team. There's really no point in keeping them together anymore. And Chris May says they've never been on the Indies either, only tag matches. Okay, like I said, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the case may be. Cody Johnson, does Sasha Banks leave WWE? I don't think she does. Let's see how the Superstar shakeup goes. If she stays on Raw, she might. But if she moves to SmackDown and has like a promising feud over there, we'll see what happens. Samir Ahmed said AJ fought Rollins, who went by Tyler Black in 2006. Well, I'll have to figure this out. But they've never gone one-on-one on the main stage. They've never gone one-on-one in WWE. I wasn't sure about the Indies. Do you think Rollins could have a 5-star match with Okada if given the opportunity? If given the opportunity, yeah, that would probably require Okada to come to WWE, because I don't think Rollins is leaving there anytime soon. Chris Mace, if you can make a new 4 horsewomen or Four Horsemen, excuse me, with Ric Flair in the manager role. Which four wrestlers do you pick? The Undisputed Era. That's basically what they are. Chris Cahill. Are the Sky Pirates and Undisputed Era? They might be the only NXT call-ups for the shakeup. Yeah, I mean, that's possible. Is there anything left for the Era to do? The Sky Pirates seem like an almost certainty. I'm not sure about the Undisputed Era. They may leave them in NXT. See who else they bring up. Because they didn't bring anybody up for Raw or SmackDown. I mean, you had Lars Sullivan, but technically he was already called up. Cherry marked. Roman to beat Kofi after the Superstar shakeup. Only if he's turning heel. I think people would not be a fan of Roman beating Kofi at whatever the next pay-per-view is. Is it Money in the Bank? Is Money in the Bank really the next one? There's no like backlash or anything. I don't know the WWE pay-per-view schedule anymore. They keep messing me up. All right, plug in again. The Wheel of Pensem, still here. Still here. Still waiting for a $20 super chat. We'll get one of them. I want to give away a t-shirt today. Like, that's a goal. I want to see those $20 donations so I can give away a t-shirt. I want to give one away this stream. But I'm not giving it away for free. That's the way it is. Money in the Bank is the next pay-per-view. Okay, I wasn't sure because, I mean, that's actually a long time anymore for WWE to have a gap between their pay-per-views over a month. Chris Cahill, do you think the Hardys will stick around to beat the Dudleys' tag team record? I don't know. They're at 8 right now. If you count Matt has another one with MVP. I don't know if he has another one other than that, though. So Matt has 9 WWE championships, but I think Edge has more than he does individually anyway. Scott Briller, how long will the Iconics stay champs? Till Money in the Bank? And no DQ rocks. No DQ rocks. No DQ rocks. Yes, it does. And especially the Wrestling Trivia Challenge champion, as I believe, let me just double check, but I believe... Sorry, I got like some interesting emails. I believe I am at $3.99. Yep. Tomorrow is 400 days as Wrestling Trivia Challenge champion, which is hard to believe. But maybe after this live stream, at some point this weekend, or at some point during the week, Jeff, Aaron, and I are going to have to talk about Season 7 and how that's all going to go down. If you want a challenge for the championship, you know what to do. NoDQMISC@gmail.com. Submit your Skype information and your availability. And we'll see what we can do, because we typically record them in advance so we can get them out in a timely manner. Chase Game says, isn't the next Saudi Arabia pay-per-view next month or June? I don't know. They really haven't talked about the next Saudi show. I thought that maybe it was the next one. I don't look at those as big shows, though. I know WWE spends a lot of money on them. They spend the pyro. They go big like it's another freaking WrestleMania. I don't know. They haven't made any sort of announcement on it. Ken Terminated by Google says, Greg Cherry's got to be the Bruno of No DQ. I'm calling it. Come to think of it, I think Cherry is the Bruno of No DQ as we speak. As far as that goes, I do have the longest reign in history, which Bruno does. It must be a Pittsburgh thing, because Bruno was from Pittsburgh, so that is what it is. Let's see. Chris Mace says, you still think a tournament is the best idea. We're going to discuss all that. We're going to discuss the tournament. We're going to discuss gauntlets. I do like Don Wooding's idea of a 2 out of 3 falls match for the finale, which would be 60 questions if it won all 3 falls. So it would definitely be interesting. Because the first 20 questions would be the first fall, as it were. Second 20 would be the second fall, and if necessary, 20 questions for 60 total would be the third. Can terminate by Google. Greg Cherry, you definitely surpassed Backlund. Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm only like 5 weeks away from Punk, so I'm trying to get to 434, but we'll see if that happens. Scott Brower says, "What about the Iconics?" The Iconics, I think they'll be champions. Um, they'll probably be longer term champions than Boston Hug Connection. I'm not sure who takes the titles from them. It may be the Sky Pirates if they come up, but I find it hard to believe that they would be given that opportunity right away. I could be wrong. I mean, you look at my WrestleMania predictions. I was wrong all day. That's why I have this. But I think they'll give the Iconics a decent run with the titles. And they're not going to be a complete joke. I mean, they're going to be typical heel champions, so they'll probably hold on to it a little longer. The Real IC says, on top of that, AEW will hold a show at a gaming convention in Daytona Beach. Good for them. Sam Littleton says, I probably missed it. How do you feel about Sasha? I mean, I love Sasha. I hope that Sasha Banks joins GTS. Yeah, I doubt she'd go with Grim. I love Sasha. I hope she stays, and I hope she gets a good story that's important to her and isn't just there to wrestle a match with no story whatsoever. Because that's basically what she's been doing. She's been on the back burner for the last year. It's driven me nuts because she should be in a position where she has so much more. She should get that story. If you watch her NXT stuff, I know I keep going back to Sasha's time in NXT, but if you look at that, it was freaking gold. And she has not had that other than her feud with Charlotte where they flip-flop the title. Other than that, Sasha's been a background character for the last 2 years. She has not been the main focal point. I think she deserves to be that main focal point. Antonio Jones says WWE should do an evil twin angle with Bayley and her sister. I mean, you could, or you could just straight up turn Bayley heel. I think the character could use it. And that was her best years in NXT, Sam. I do agree. Chris May says Sasha needs a heel turn. Sasha was a fantastic heel, even when she first came up to WWE. And then they turned her face because she was so popular because her heel work was so good. And I don't know. I just hope they use Sasha correctly. Cherry Mark says, Greg, would you rather see Joe versus Strowman, Joe versus Lars, or Lars versus Strowman? I feel like if you do Lars versus Strowman, that should not happen immediately. That should be saved for one of the big pay-per-views, whether it's SummerSlam or whether it's WrestleMania, and then I'd probably have Lars go over, because Strowman was that big, strong guy who just beat the crap out of everybody. But recently, he almost jobbed the Saturday Night Live guys. And it's like, dude, I know he won the Battle Royal WrestleMania. I know he did, but like, what do you do? What do you do with Strowman to... That's the word I'm looking for. To rebuild him. I'd send him to SmackDown. Chris May says, will Bray Wyatt's return be successful? It's hard to tell. I'm pretty sure that dinosaur thing has something to do with Wyatt's return. But we'll see. It could be something else completely. Antonio Jones, they could do the Bayley angle similar to Enzo and Cass. I mean, they could, but it doesn't seem... Enzo and Cass was more of a surprise in Ring of Honor because they weren't on the roster. Chris Mason, Strowman become more like the Big Show. Anymore, yeah. I mean, Big Show used to do the car flipping and stuff too. It was a big deal. Strowman did it for a while, and it was awesome. And then it just Strowman is becoming like the Big Show. Cherry Mark, Greg, if CM Punk ever returned to WWE, you have to forfeit the title to Virtue. I doubt that's ever going to happen. I'll probably lose the title before CM Punk comes back to WWE, but I'll surpass his reign first. That's the goal. And Antonio Jones says, I mean, when Cass turned heel, but it makes more sense. The Cass heel turn was okay. Cass's actual heel run was glorious. No, I won't give in till I'm victorious. Somebody subscribe to my channel. I'm so happy. There we go. Hey, we got it on here. That's awesome. That's what happens when you're on my channel, the youtube.com/luckofthedraw. Appreciate it, GG Vision. I wasn't sure if it worked on here. Somebody needs to send me a Streamlabs. Streamlabs.com/luckofthedraw. I want to see if it works on here. That's what happens when people subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/luckofthedraw. You get the little graphics here, which is awesome. So if you send a Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/luckofthedraw1, and this video just got demonetized. You don't have enough people watching it, Aaron, after the live stream's over. You're fine. Cherry Mark 23. What's next for Lesnar if he returns? I hope he doesn't. Honestly, what is there left for Lesnar to do other than hold a title hostage? I'm overseeing Lesnar. If he wants to go back to UFC, go back to UFC. You don't need him anymore. Antonio Jones, yeah, but Cass's heel run was not glorious by any means. You're right, it wasn't. It was not glorious at all. It's basically like Bobby Roode's run on the main roster. It's not really glorious. Sure, he was U.S. and Tag Champ, but he's kind of been relegated to nothing. I wasn't sure if the subscription thing worked. That took me back. I wasn't expecting that. I had to look at that. Yeah, but if somebody sends me a Streamlabs for the streamlabs.com/luckofthedraw1, you can still send comments like it's a super chat, but you'll get a little graphic where like right about here, like you did for the subscription, and it'll come up with your comment and the little GIF. Chris Cahill, the other day I was looking at the great heels of all time. They had Stephanie, Triple H, CM Punk, Vince, and is that Randy Orton? I'm guessing. The way he did that job for Seth, Brock doesn't care at all. I hope they don't bring him back again. He could have gone out with a good match. Yeah, I'm fine with Brock not coming back. I hope he doesn't. At least he was professional enough to show up and take the fall instead of like hold WrestleMania up. Because I'm sure that probably would have gotten even more heat. Being like, no, don't bring Brock back. It's like, we will pay you not to bring Brock back. We don't need Brock Lesnar in WWE anymore. We should make his Hall of Fame speech very interesting. Cherry Mark 23. Do you think after Bray returns we'll see Harper and Strowman join him? Boston Punk says, what the hell, which I'm not sure what that's in reference to. I don't see the need to reform the Wyatt family again. We've seen it break up and reform how many times now? I don't think Bray Wyatt needs the Wyatt family, but maybe he does. Because Rowan's with Daniel Bryan, so he's set already. I don't know what they do with Harper. I don't know what they do with Strowman. And Scott Brower says, will we see Ronda or Charlotte on Raw Monday? I doubt you see Ronda. I don't know if you see Ronda for a while. Charlotte's possible. It all depends on what they do with Becky 2 belts and which championship that Becky is going to to defend. Chris May says, will Bray finally introduce Sister Abigail? If it was anything like they were going to do before that match with the Demon Finn Balor, I hope not. Chris Cahill says, has the Shane heel turn been successful thus far? I think so. I like Shane as a heel. I like Shane as a face. I like Shane as a heel. I think it's worked. It's going to have an interesting payoff, though. I'm sure it's going to lead to another match with The Miz. Boston Punk says, I stepped away and just heard Glorious Blast. Yeah, somebody subscribed to my other YouTube channel, like not the No DQ channel. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/lookatthedraw. And when they subscribe, you get the notification right about here that somebody subscribed to your channel. So I appreciate that. And if you want to subscribe and like blow up this video with Bobby Roode's theme playing, go over to that channel and subscribe. Where are we going now? His Royal Jazzness. I'd like to see them at least attempt something without Harper, without the Wyatt family. I would too. I'm not sure what you consider his best run was, because he was WWE champion, but he was only champion for a month before he gave it to Orton in what was ended up being a terrible feud. Cherry Mark says Aleister Black and Ricochet get split up during the shakeup. We get Black versus Rollins, Ricochet versus Kofi. I doubt they put them up that high. I'd be fine if Black and Ricochet got split up because I don't think they need to be a tag team. They're good enough on their own. And plus, their tag team's kind of weird anyway. Antonio Jones, does Strowman even need a title at this point? Honestly, anyone that beats him won't get an extra push. He's just another superstar now, hardly a monster. If you want to save face with Strowman, I mean, we saw him beat up Samoa Joe on SmackDown, so maybe he's going to chase the U.S. title. I think Strowman being a dominant champion would help him. GG Vision says Shane is great until he throws punches. And that subscription was you, GG. Which I appreciate. Don't get me wrong. Hopefully you enjoyed the videos on that channel. Excuse me. Chase Game says, I feel more bad for Harper than I would for Sasha or Bayley. Dude doesn't get much opportunities. He has potential, but they only use just for tag teams. Well, Harper was injured, too. That's why he hasn't been on TV. He was injured for a few months. I mean, Rowan was injured. Glorious. No, I will give in till I'm victorious. Yes. And I will defend. See, this will help too when I start doing live streams on my channel. We'll get more of those. Appreciate it, Roberto. Chris Mace, the Pensang Greg Cherry is your YouTube channel, right? Yes, it is. There's another one that's Greg Cherry 2 that only has like 7 subscribers, which I used briefly for like uploading random videos just to give the riff. But yes, that is. Cherry Mark, Shane versus CM Punk at SummerSlam, best in the world versus best in the world. Would you love to see that as a feud if built right if Punk came back? If Punk came back to do that, that would be perfectly fine. It makes sense if they were to do that, but Punk's never going to come back for it. I'm not going to make a bet because I made the bet for Kofi, and look where that got me. Antonio Jones, if Shane versus Triple H doesn't happen, it will be a shame. It's made real situations since the McMahons have exposed the storyline. This should be no exception. People will be invested again. And Chris may just subscribe to it. Well, it's going to pop up here soon, Chris. So I appreciate that. Yeah, Shane versus Triple H could happen. People give Shane a lot of crap. I think he puts on great matches. Meltzer rated his match, though, with Miz at WrestleMania as like less than 2 stars. It's like, come on. It was more entertaining than that. Give it a break. Yeah, it wasn't Shane's best match, or Miz's for that matter. But 1 3/4 stars, give me a break. Ken terminated by Google. I am not holding my breath for Punk's return. If Punk returned, I will shave my head like Angle. I'm not holding my breath for Punk's return, but I'm also not going to bet on it. And Meltzer is a moron. Meltzer fears Cherry. I challenged him to Wrestling Trivia Challenge, and he never responded. So I need people to buy my shirt so I can make a Meltzer fears Cherry shirt and sell that on Pro Wrestling Tees. Hopefully that would be a hit. Anyway, Scott Burley says, as a new subscriber, what do you contribute your wrestling trivia domination to? Weak competition or your superior intelligence? Well, it's not weak competition. I'll tell you that much. I don't want to say a photographic memory, but when it comes to things that I'm passionate about, I have very good recollection, very good recall. I do the same thing with Luck of the Draw. Like, I'm able to pull stats for my game show that I made, and it's just kind of ridiculous. Like, how many people have won 2 games? How many people have, like, how many punishments and whatever, which, that's all on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out. That and backyard wrestling stuff. But it's not necessarily superior intelligence either because, like I said, I have gaps. So the luck of the questions and when they get asked does help. So if my opponent knows something that I don't, and I use a skip, it helps. And if they don't know something that I do and they don't, the key to winning the trivia matches isn't necessarily knowing your own questions. It's being able to steal the points from your opponent, which is definitely a bigger help. Like, obviously, you have to know your own questions, but if you can steal points from your opponent, that's typically when you're able to win the matches. Cherry Mark, does WWE need Chris Jericho or does Chris Jericho need WWE? I don't think either. Jericho's in AEW. He's one of the founding people there. He'll be fine. Chris Jericho, no matter what he does in the wrestling world, he'll be okay. Ken terminated by Google. So Meltzer is a wuss. Nice factoid, Cherry. Hey, I tweeted him. I tweeted Alvarez. I tweeted a bunch of people who do the wrestling podcast. I think I tweeted Bruce Pritchard too. None of them ever wanted to face me. So Antonio Jones, the way Shane has been throwing his power around, it may take Triple H to be the face. He may very well. If they do the Shane Triple H match down the road, whether it be next year's WrestleMania or whether it be SummerSlam this year, probably Mania. Triple H will probably want some time off. That may work. There'll probably be no disqualification because no disqualification, you don't have to be as great in the ring as you used to be because you can just beat people up with anything and you don't have to be technical. So no disqualification matches if you can't go in a full technical sense are the way to go. Chris Mace, Greg Cherry beat me in Season 5, Episode 1, 7-5. That was a tough match. It was a tough match. It was also Chris Cass questions. His questions are a little bit more difficult than what's normally asked on the show. Chris Cahill asks, is the Nia injury a blessing in disguise? Maybe for her because she was kind of getting lost in the shuffle. So she'll have a big return when she comes back, probably around Royal Rumble time frame, since she has to have repairs on both her ACLs. So hopefully she comes back stronger and better. Chris Mace has not faced Chris Cass now. He was on the show when Cass hosted, but I was the opponent. Ken terminated by Google. Hey, Cherry, wouldn't it be funny if Meacham challenged Pritchard on who trademarked the open can of beer? I mean, if he wants to do that. May says, I faced Greg once. I do the 205 Live Matter show with Noah and NXT party with Stefan and Jerry. Meacham did before you, Pritchard. It's a fact. Yes, Noah is a good guy, Ken. He's definitely a good guy. Antonio Jones, Tamina will have to sink or swim now. They might not use her, honestly, because they probably won't use her. They may use her in a singles role, or they may pair her up with somebody else. Cherry Mark, who's honestly the best wrestler of today, Omega or Styles? I give the edge to AJ just because of his longevity. I know Omega's been wrestling for years too, but AJ Styles has been all over the world. He's been a success everywhere he's been. I got to give it to AJ. Just personal opinion. All right, so I will see the Streamlabs thing. I just want to bring this up again, since you guys, a couple of you have subscribed to my channel and you saw the little blip there. If you see if you donate to the Streamlabs, which is a minimum of $1 donation, if you donate to the Streamlabs, you'll actually see like a ticker, like right above my head or right over my face, to show how much you donate, and it'll stay there for like the top 5. So if anybody wants to test that out, go for it. And obviously, any $20 Streamlabs that you want to send will get you a spin. All right. Chris Cahill, you can almost put Seth in that conversation as the best wrestler. Possibly. I think Seth needs a few more classics in him before he's in that conversation. Ken terminated by Google. Cherry, am I the only one who thinks Tamina should not use the Superfly Splash? Second and third generation performers should not use their daddy's moves. I disagree with that. I mean, I thought it was cool when Curtis Axel used the Perfect Plex. He didn't use it as a finisher, but what else does Tamina use as her finisher? The super kick? That's basically her moveset, is the super kick and the splash. So it's one or the other. What's up, Interstate Kyle? We were actually just talking about you earlier with a match we did when Jeff was hosting. Chris Mace, who's the one person you wanted to face in Trivia Challenge that you haven't faced yet? I wanted to face Virtue, but I know I'd slaughter him. I don't know. Like, I welcome anybody who wants to challenge me. And I'm sure Aaron will set up some good matches. I'm looking forward to Season 7. I hope it goes well. Excuse me. Yeah, more Virtue. Antonio Jones, is there an official spear count for Mania 35? I swear there was at least one spear in each match. Yeah, there probably was. It's kind of an overused move. It's effective, but it's overused. GG Vision says, I guess Virtue as I join, but I know I get wrecked. Hey, as long as you have the guts to be on the show. Chris May says, I want to see you face Noah Foster. Noah was actually in the tournament, and he got beat by Brian Zane. So he did have a shot to be in the tournament. GG Vision says Spear should be no one's finisher since Goldberg. Even Edge was mad. Yeah, but for Edge it worked. I mean, he even got people to chant Spear. Cherry Mark says, I like your Triple H Harley Race beard. Yeah, I actually lost the WrestleMania bet because I didn't think Kofi was going to win the title. Interstate Kyle, has Sweet Chin Music Superkick gotten watered down in recent years? The thing is, Shawn isn't wrestling anymore. So, it's hard to say. I know it's kind of overused anymore, especially with the Young Bucks and Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano. Sorry, I always mispronounce it. But, I mean, it's still an effective move. It's just not a finisher anymore. Chris Mays asks, what is the best wrestling match you ever saw live? I've seen quite a few good ones live. I got to see Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon at SummerSlam 1995 in a ladder match. The only decent match of that show. I got to see Undertaker and Triple H at Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania 28. That was awesome. What else? Probably one of the best. I don't really remember a fantastic match on the Raw or SmackDown tapings I've been at. Maybe Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt from the 2014 Royal Rumble. That was a good match. Ken terminated by Google. First of all, I'm surprised you wanted to see me in your chat. It's a damn shame. Oh, that's talking to Rift. Antonio Jones. I used to hate that Kurt Angle stole the ankle lock from Ken Shamrock. Yeah, but by that point, Shamrock was already gone. Random question, Greg, but what's your opinion on Vengeance 2002 Taker Curtin Rock? Probably my favorite triple threat. That was a good one. That was a good triple threat match. It was definitely entertaining because everybody stole each other's finisher, so that was kind of cool. As far as the best triple threat match, well, it's your favorite, so I can't really say, hey, that's not your favorite. Somebody actually did that to me. I told them Shawn Michaels was my favorite wrestler. They were like, nope, it's not. It's like, okay, I guess not. Cherry Mark, would you love to see a rematch from Kofi and Seth at Money in the Bank title for title and Undisputed Era Wreak Havoc, debuting to set up Undisputed Era versus Shield versus New Day? Well, Ambrose is leaving, so you're not going to have that match. I figured Undisputed Era should have interrupted on Raw instead of what we actually got. Nothing against the bar, but it's like, seriously, that's how you're ending your Raw after Mania? It was probably the worst Raw after Mania in years, if we're going to be completely honest. Benoit, Shawn, Triple H has got to be up there. Yeah, the WrestleMania match, sure. Interstate Cal says, why does AJ Styles matches for the most part WrestleMania have been underwhelming? Jericho, Nakamura, and Orton just feel like they couldn't live up to the hype. Yeah, AJ's best WrestleMania match was against Shane McMahon. Which I'm not sure if that's a testament to the story he was giving or a testament to how good Shane McMahon is. Because Shane and AJ had the best WrestleMania match on that show. You could say the Fatal 4-Way Ladder match, but that wasn't. That was more just to showcase the Hardys coming back than it was for a good match. Where am I? Chris Mace, are finishing moves as important now of days with so many people kicking out of other finishers nowadays? I mean, Gargano kicking out of literally everything at NXT TakeOver was a little insane, but it got me invested in the match. There are still some finishers that people haven't kicked out of. Like, nobody's kicked out of the End of Days. I don't know if anybody realizes that. Corbin's been around for 3-4 years now, including his time in NXT, and nobody's kicked out of the End of Days. So good on him. Gigi Vision ending with a bar was so dumb. Yeah, it was. It was so bad. Would the ending be better if the Undisputed Era interfered? I think it would have been. I think if the Undisputed Era would have interfered in that match on Raw and stood above Kofi and Rollins both to end the show, that's how you would have done it. I'm not sure how you would have got to that finish, but it would have been much better than they had. Ken Terminated by Google says AJ's match with Jericho was lackluster. In comparison to previous matches they had, yeah. AJ's match with Jericho at WrestleMania was The match at Fastlane, I think, was better. Chris Cahill, wish they did the Dean farewell in the main event, only to have Undisputed Era jump them. That could have been cool, too. Mark Dunlop says, I'm scared the Undisputed Era will get ruined or split up when they go to the main roster. No faction stays around forever. I mean, the New Day have been going strong for 5 years, but they're probably the exception to the rule. Ken Terminated by Google. Cherry, isn't the Undisputed Era doing a dissension angle? Not yet. I'm not sure if that's NXT spoilers or not. But as far as been on TV, they may be. So we'll see if that lasts. I mean, the Undisputed Era might not last on NXT, so they might not. They might be split up before they come to the main roster. I don't know that for a fact. Interstate Cow, now that I realize a lot of Jericho's matches at WrestleMania have been underwhelming, like Triple H, Edge, CM Punk, to name a few. I actually thought the CM Punk match with Jericho was good. Of course, I was there for it, too, so. But not all Jericho's matches have been bad. Look at his WrestleMania debut against Benoit and Angle. That triple threat match was awesome. He faced Regal the year after. That was okay. The Triple H match was kind of garbage. Um, him versus Shawn was fantastic. Him versus Christian was really good. The first Money in the Bank was good. Um, Money in the Bank when it came back 3 years later, that was good. His match against the Three Legends was pretty awful until he wrestled Steamboat. 26, him and Edge was good. Then he was gone until 29 with Fandango. Let's not go there. And then he came back, had his match with AJ, which was okay. 33 had his match with Owens, which he said in interviews that Vince McMahon thought was the worst WrestleMania match of all time. Which I don't think that's the case. That wasn't even the worst match on that show. He didn't wrestle at 34, I don't think. No. No, he didn't wrestle at 34. Ken terminated by Google. Where am I at here? Jericho's match with Edge was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good. Steamboat's one of your favorites. I got to meet Ricky Steamboat last year. Last year or 2 years ago? 2 years ago. Got to wear his Hall of Fame ring, too. That was pretty sweet. The Jericho versus Triple H match was ruined due to the storyline being grim. No, the Triple H versus Jericho match was ruined because it went on after Rock Hogan. So that one didn't have a chance to follow it up. And the storyline was kind of terrible for it being the Mania main event. For next year's WrestleMania, I wouldn't mind seeing either Seth versus Adam Cole or AJ versus Adam Cole. That would be phenomenal. No pun intended, because AJ's in there. Cherry Mark 23. Edge and Taker from 24 was Taker's best match since Batista. And then Taker had the classic with Shawn the year after. Ken terminated by Google. Wasn't the Triple H Stephanie angle focused on Dog? I liked the Dog. I think that was only part of, like, 1 week part of it. The angle was Stephanie was upset with Triple H because Triple H wanted a divorce. So Stephanie aligned with Jericho. But it was just like a business partner relationship. It wasn't much of anything else. And yes, Mark Dunlop, I have heard Jericho talking about the Triple H match. The match was garbage. The storyline was garbage too. Mark Dunlop said he wanted him and Stephanie to do a romantic storyline, but Triple H said no. I mean, I get that. I can get that they didn't want to do that, but it probably would have been better than the storyline they actually did. So, I'm going to plug this again. I haven't had much in the way of super chats, which is okay. But the wheel's still here. You can still win something, even though it landed on bankrupt that time. So be glad that wasn't your spin. So you can get a spin off the wheel of Pensen. Did it seriously land on bankrupt again? Let's do this. Get a spin off the wheel of Pensen for $20. That one's better. Get a spin off this wheel for $20. You can send a super chat, or you can send a Streamlabs and get a cool graphic to go along with your chat. So, if you want to do that, go ahead. You probably don't have a ton of time left. I'm not sure if I'm going to 5 or 6 o'clock. So, if you want that to happen, go for it. Ken terminated by Google. Hey, Cherry. LOL. Yes. Cherry Mark with Brock. I'm not sure what any of this means. What are you talking about, Ken? You're trying to get my attention. What's up? Ken terminated by Google. If the wheel landed on you singing a song, can you sing Homer Simpson's favorite song? It's a rating. Tell you what, Ken, if somebody submits $20 and it lands on that, I'll do what I can. Mark Dunlop asks where I'm from. I'm the Pennsylvania sensation, so figure that one out, Mark. Interstate Kyle. Triple H was only a face for a 6-month period. His return was awesome, but the follow-up wasn't booked very strong. He was a natural heel. Yeah, his return was good. Him winning the Rumble made sense. But then he won the title, and then the next month immediately lost it to Hogan. So his babyface run was doomed from the start. Hey, I'll sing it if somebody donates $20. If somebody donates $20 and it lands on that, I'll sing it. I don't care. Cherry Mark, I'll send a $100 super chat. That's 5 spins, buddy. Tell you what, I'll do you one better. Send one. If you send $100 to the Streamlabs thing, you'll get the graphic and you get 5 spins. Mark Dunlop, greetings from Scotland. Oh, I know a couple people from Scotland. How you doing? It helps when I do these streams earlier in the day because people in the European countries can actually watch this and not be up till like 2, 3 in the morning. So that helps. Ken terminated by Google. That's a hell of a deal, Cherry. Yeah, it is. Like I said, if you get any multiply of any what is the word I'm looking for crying out loud? For every $20 you send, you get a spin. So if you send $100, you get 5 spins. Thing is, I want to explain this to you before you do it. If you hit bankrupt in the course of the spins, you lose everything you had before it. I figure you're 5 hours ahead of me, Mark. I couldn't remember if it was 5 or 6. I wasn't sure what time Scotland was on. But yeah. If you send $20, you get 1 spin. If you send $40, you get 2 spins on up. So $100 super chat, $100 Streamlabs. You get the fancy graphic too. And you get 5 spins. So you could get me singing a couple times. You could get me dancing a couple times. Doing a couple entrances at your request. And you could win a couple t-shirts. So how much for you to sing Old Town Road by Billy Ray Cyrus? I don't think I know that song, actually. But the songs are all on the wheel. Like, if it lands, like, right here. Where is it at? Yeah, right here. Next spot. Karaoke. That's where I sing a song. $20 for the wheel spin. Chris Cahill, where do you think Eli Drake will go? WWE or AEW? I don't know how much interest WWE has in Eli Drake. I think it's ridiculous that Impact fired him because he didn't want to wrestle a woman. Maybe he didn't feel comfortable with it, and then they just released him from his contract. I think that's a little shady. But I could probably see him being in AEW more than WWE. But maybe I'm wrong with that. I don't know. So yeah, I don't think I went over the stuff on the wheel. But t-shirt is there, obviously. Karaoke, you can watch me sing. Entrance, you can watch me do a wrestler's entrance of your choice. Dance break, I'll dance like an idiot. Truth time is where you guys can ask me a relatively personal question, within reason, obviously, and I'll answer it truthfully. Road story, I can tell you a story from my time in the Indies, or anything to do with stuff like that. And I think that's it. There's also a bankrupt, too, which is self-explanatory if you watch Wheel of Fortune. So, I'm still waiting for like that $100 live stream or Streamlabs to see if I get the fancy graphic. Cherry Mark, do you think Kushida will be big in WWE? Well, let's see how he does in NXT first. If he's, of course, Shinsuke was a big deal in NXT, and when he came up to the main roster, not as much. It seems like for the Japanese superstars, you have to be able to speak English to get over in any sense of the imagination. But I don't know. Hopefully, Kushida has a better run than Shinsuke does on the main roster. We'll have to wait and see. I do have a list of karaoke songs to sing, too. Chris Mace, who has had the most disappointing call up from NXT to the main brand in your opinion? I do feel bad for Tyler Breeze because his push almost ended before it even began. He had that one Survivor Series win against Dolph Ziggler and then literally didn't do anything after that. Which sucks because Breeze was so good in NXT. He main evented NXT for the NXT Championship. But he was never taken seriously on the main roster. And he didn't really have any sort of relevance on the main roster until he teamed with Fandango and became the Fashion Police or Breezango or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I would like to see Tyler Breeze get a better shot because I think he's very talented. I think he deserves more than just being on main event. Cherry Mark, Tyler Breeze versus Velveteen Dream next takeover from Tyler's tweet. Maybe Breeze goes to NXT. Like maybe the Superstar Shakeup sends Tyler Breeze to NXT. I'm sure that'll frustrate Woods trying to film GM mode, but we'll have to see. Chris Cahill, I wouldn't mind seeing Rusev and Nakamura going to Raw to help the tag team division. I hate the fact that they're a tag team anyway. Because they lose all the time. It's like, what's the point of being a team if you lose all the time? Have they won as a tag team yet? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they have. Of course, I haven't been able to watch SmackDown a lot recently, but they've only been teaming a couple months. Have they won yet? Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure. Man, I got all excited about that $100 Streamlabs. I still haven't seen one come across. Cherry Mark, Shinsuke is Yoshitatsu 2.0. Aww. The problem with Yoshitatsu is he was never anywhere close to as over as Nakamura. You also have to consider the time frame because 2009, 2010, when he first came to the main roster in WWE, NXT was not a thing. All the New Japan knowledge was not a thing. It was a different time. Would he have succeeded in this era? Possibly. At least more success than he had. But he was just kind of a fish out of water his entire time with WWE. Shinsuke at least had some relevance and won some big matches. Yoshi was just kind of there. Cherry Mark 23, I'll send you a $100 super chat if you praise Jinder Mahal. I guess I need to praise Jinder Mahal first before I get that. Jinder Mahal is actually very underrated. I like Jinder. I thought his reign as WWE champion, it could have been something special. Did he have the best matches? Not. I actually enjoyed his Punjabi prison match with Orton. It was probably the best Punjabi prison match they've done out of all three. But I think Jinder does deserve better. He was WWE champion. He was United States champion. I think he deserves more than being just cannon fodder for mid-card and main event guys. Just my opinion. So there you go, Cherry Mark. Send a Streamlabs so we get the fancy graphic. Um, Lars Kirsch, what's up, Greg? How are you? Greetings from Germany. Oh, how you doing, Lars? You a fan of Lars Sullivan too, since you share a first name? Um, Antonio Jones, for Nakamura to get his stardom back in WWE, he has to leave for a bit, then return like Jericho. If he turns back face right now, it still wouldn't be the same. Yeah, I don't know what Shinsuke has to do. I mean, maybe a move to Raw would help him because on SmackDown he hasn't really. I don't know. I don't know what Nakamura has to do. Patrick Maloney says, "Do you think Bliss moves to SmackDown?" She could. She's been on Raw for 2 years, so she didn't move in last year's shakeup. Um, she could move to SmackDown. It might help her a little bit. She's still a heel though. I would honestly like to see an Alexa Bliss babyface run. I don't know who that would be beneficial against, but I would like to see an Alexa Bliss babyface run personally. Sorry, Greg, typo. You have to praise Muhammad Hassan. Muhammad Hassan was a great character. He really was. He got the heat. I was kind of disappointed that like the whole thing with the quote unquote terrorists attacking the Undertaker on that one episode of SmackDown. It was such bad timing, but that was not WWE's fault. I actually like Jinder Mahal, or not Jinder Mahal, Muhammad Hassan. Um, I thought his character was great. I thought his promo work was great, and he just got the short end of the stick, and it wasn't his fault. So I did like the Muhammad Hassan character. I was he a great wrestler? He was all right. Yeah, Hassan I think did deserve a little bit better. I kind of wish he would come back, but it's Cherry Mark. Come on. Hey, I did two of them for you. Um, I'll talk about Big Daddy V in a second. Um, Chris Cahill was Drew's first run. Didn't work out because he rushed into things too soon. Um, Antonio Jones says Drew's backstage drama was the error in his first run. I didn't even remember his backstage drama unless you're referring to his ex-wife beating the crap out of him. But yeah, he was kind of rushed onto the main roster and given the Intercontinental title way too quick. Because it was like, hey, he didn't really, like, he wasn't even really known. And he was given the second most important title in the company. I'm sure now people would be all over Drew McIntyre Intercontinental title run. If not a Universal title run. Ken terminated by Google. Antonio, if Nakamura gets injured and comes back as a face, he might get a good reaction. Possibly. Cherry Mark, Big Daddy V. I was there for when Mabel main evented SummerSlam. And Mabel was athletic. For being a 500-pound guy, he was pretty athletic. He got over with Viscera. He got over like doing the whole Visagra thing. And then as Big Daddy V, it was a little strange to see him like with just like the suspenders, but I thought he was decent. I got to see him like in a tag team match with him and Mark Henry against Punk and Kane at Armageddon, I believe. Antonio Jones. Tiffany, I think, was her on-screen name. Yeah, Taryn Terrell. Yeah, that was his ex-wife. Cherry Mark. Was Jack Swagger underrated? His best work was with Zeb in 13. I always liked Jack Swagger. And yes, I do believe he was underrated. I think he had a good run when he was doing the We the People thing. And It never translated into anything. Yeah, he got a world title shot at WrestleMania, but he didn't win. And then he had his feud with Rusev, which I thought was going to lead to big things for him, but it didn't. And he never really got that opportunity. And Jake Hager is better in MMA. He won his first match, didn't he? With R-Truth wrapping him to the ring. I'm waiting on you, Cherry Mark. That's 3 of your guys I did. You don't have that bad of typos. This wheel could use some spinning. You get 5 for the $100. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jack Swagger won his first fight. R-Truth wrapped him to the ring. You'd be surprised. I think Batista won his first MMA fight too. And yes, yeah, he did. I saw the video of it. Cherry Mark, hey, look at me. That's the last one. That's the last one before you send your stuff. Confirm it before I talk about Lesnar. What was the better year for wrestling, 1999 or 2001? I enjoyed 2001. I mean, 2001 arguably had the best WrestleMania of all time. SummerSlam was decent that year. The Royal Rumble was good that year. Survivor Series was good that year. It's probably the best. 2002 actually probably had the best Big Four year out of any year in the company. So I'd probably go with 2001 over 99 just because there's a lot of stuff that happened in 99 that I don't quite remember. 2001 is a little more clear. 2001 was good until the lackluster invasion angle started. I actually like Austin as a paranoid heel, though. Yeah, the invasion angle was good in theory, terrible in execution. Channel surfing back and forth on Monday nights. Cherry Mark, you can actually go to the Pro Wrestling Tees store, prowrestlingtees.com/PA and get the shirt yourself if you want. And you can pick whichever one you want. Yeah, you can go do that right now, actually, while I'm still streaming. Because I got 4 shirts up there. So take your pick. Yeah, channel surfing back and forth on Monday nights in 99. Even 98. I used to do that too, switch between Nitro and Raw. I remember watching Raw and then turning the channel to Nitro and seeing the Warrior was on the channel. And I was like, what the heck is going on? So I had the... Ken Terminator Google says, Brian Zane named Austin's heel run as the worst heel turn ever. Would you consider Steve's heel run to be awful? It kept me entertained. His heel turn was not the worst ever. I disagree with that. The worst heel turn ever. I don't know, I think Big Cass's heel turn was worse than Austin's. Because at least Austin's led to, like, some solid matches. That led to some classic segments. I probably wouldn't even put Austin's heel turn like in the top 5 for the worst. Was it great? No, but was it the worst? I don't think so. Cherry Mark, do you like Sami Zayn's pipe bomb promo on Monday? I thought it was good. It'll be interesting to see where that leads if he's going to stay on Raw. WWE hates no DQ. Finn Balor to SmackDown to pair him with Club and AJ. It's possible. Who is United States champion right now? Samoa Joe. If you move Balor to SmackDown, you'd have to move Joe to Raw. Just to keep the mid-card titles. Or you have somebody from Raw beat Joe for the United States. It all depends. Of course, they just switched the titles last year, so I don't know. Do you watch Wrestling with Regrets videos? Zayn is a good talker and his Captain Lou Albano impression is pretty funny. I've seen some of them. I'm sure you know, I've been on a few videos with Brian Zayn. Not on his channel, but on this one. Do you think it's time for Cassius Ohno to leave WWE? This is his second run, I think, and still nothing productive. I feel bad for Cassius Ohno because he's a great talent. They've just had nothing for him story-wise. I actually remember at one point I was thinking about becoming a wrestler, stealing one of my finishers from Chris Hero. So, Antonio Jones, Greg, do you watch any FMW? Hayabusa is one of my all-time favorites. I've seen some FMW stuff. What was it that I watched? It was like a electrified pool death match or something ridiculous like that. And one of the competitors like got stabbed in the guts with a sword or something. I was like, what the frick is this? What am I watching? WWE hates no DQ. Unpopular opinion, Sasha Banks is a sore loser and always wants to be at the top. But everyone has a low point. The best fight through those tough points and become better in the company. Well, we'll see how Sasha deals with all the social media distaste for her. Not from me. I've been in Sasha's corner. But she's been on vacation with her husband, I believe, with Kalisto. Maybe it's Kalisto. Because they're good friends. So we'll see how she deals with it. We'll see if she's on Raw or SmackDown this week. And see how that goes. Future shocker. I was hoping to see CM Punk and Ono in WWE, but I think that's impossible now. Yeah, Punk's not coming back, so. Cherry Mark says R-Truth wins the Universal title from Seth to be named first Black Universal Champ. You know what? I thought Truth deserved a WWE title run years ago when he was feuding with Cena. I would have liked to see it happen. Antonio Jones says, nah, they never respected her. She loses the title after one defense. It's her thing. I think that's garbage how Sasha's been booked on the main roster. To lose the title in her first defense. All 4 of her women's championship reigns ended in her first defense. All 4 of them. That's ridiculous. The women's tag team titles was the second one, which is not much of an improvement. It's so sad how they've treated Sasha. Yeah, I don't get it. I'm surprised nobody's even tried to donate like $1 to the Streamlabs thing just to get a comment on here, see what happens. Streamlabs.com/luckofthedraw1, the number 1, all one word. Go on there, see what it does. Even if it's just $1, it should pop up. I'm pretty sure, unless I set it for like 20. I might have set it for 20. I'm not sure. I might set it for 20 just to know when the spins were happening. I'd have to look back. I'm caught up with the chat, so I'm just going to take a look at this real quick. Future shocker. Sasha Banks kind of rubbed me the wrong way when she said in an interview that she was the greatest women's wrestler that the company has ever seen. Sounds like a bit of an ego. You know what? I agreed with Sasha on that. I think she is. And a lot of people would be like, oh my goodness, why you actually think Sasha's better than Trish? Yes. Fight me. I think Sasha's better than Trish. It's just my personal opinion. Cherry Mark. well, first, Chris Mace, was the worst wrestling match. Was the worst wrestling match you've never seen? I'm not sure. I'm sure you meant ever, but Cherry Mark says, "You're the best in the world. I'm really your biggest Mark." Well, I appreciate that. I would love to tag with you next year versus Primo and Epico at Mania. I'm surprised they're still with the company, honestly. Ken terminated by Google. If Riff reboots Talk Wrestling, I would love to see you or Dylan Meacham host the show. You're as good a talker as Jeff Meacham, in my opinion. I'm better at trivia. Oh, boom. No, but Talk Wrestling is Jeff's thing. If I ever did a single show, I mean, this is basically it. I used to do this is TSE. I used to do the Sensational Experience, but I think the live streams are basically my thing now. WWE hates no DQ. Sasha versus Becky could have been the next matchup if she didn't get pissed for losing the tags. It still might be. It might all be a work. Greg, are you a heel or face? I never knew. I'm whatever you want me to be. If you want me to be a babyface, I'm a babyface. If you think I'm arrogant and cocky when it comes to wrestling trivia challenging, you think I'm a heel, I'm a heel. It's all shades of gray, quite frankly. Let's see here. I know the alert box pops up. Let's see. Donations. What did I set the minimum for donations? Antonio Jones' worst match is that Jackie Gata Raw match. Oh yeah, the Jackie Gata and Chris Nowinski versus Bradshaw and Trish. Yeah, that match was awful. Ken terminated, but Google says I'm a tweener. Yep, go with that. That's why. I did have the Streamlabs set for $20 for the notification, but there we go. There's $1. There's $1. See, I told you it works. I just fixed it so the dollar should set up. It might not work. It might just be the $20 ones for the Streamlabs to set up the graphic. But the dollar one works, so that's good. Where am I at? All right. So, Nate Washington. What's up, Greg? I'm from Seattle. Like the Steelers, Nate Washington, back in the day? And the Tennessee Titans? WWE hates new DQ. Will Vince treat SmackDown as a B show going into the shakeup, or treat both shows as an A show since they will both have massive contracts in the years to come? I think that SmackDown will gain a little bit of prevalence because of the Fox deal. I hope so, at least. And they've talked about moving SmackDown to 3 hours, which I hope they don't do. I think they should move Raw back to 2 hours. Hopefully they're treated as equals. Cherry Mark asks, who's hotter, Mandy Rose or Liv Morgan? I gotta give it to Mandy, but Liv is very pretty too. I gotta give the edge to Mandy though. Nate Washington is going good. You can see. I'm glad I have those little things for the Streamlabs. I was able to put them in. Now you see the little bit of the work that the Streamlabs things does. You get the notifications. You get the top 5 notifications. Maybe if you guys send in 5 donations, like all in a row, and you just take over the board. There was a term for that for the reaction room, which I'm not going to repeat because I can't. But if you get 5 on the board, maybe you'll do something special. I don't know. War Dog says AEW's going to drop a big shit on WWE. Time for get the E out of here. 2020. We have to watch to see how Double or Nothing's going to go. Let's see here. Does anyone know in the chat if Melanie Pillman has issues with WWE? Yeah, I'm surprised that almost 20 years later, Pillman's not in the Hall of Fame yet. If you want to count the Hart Foundation's induction, I think that technically should include Pillman, Owen, and Bulldog, because they were part of the Hart Foundation too. WWE hates no DQ. If Roman goes to SmackDown, then we know that Vince is all in, no pun intended. Antonio Jones, I'm sure Vince cut a check back then and still may cut a few now. Cherry Mark, was Cena's Dr. Thugonomics full-time or a one-off? It's probably just a one-off. I'd be fine if he came back for a short time as the Doctor, but it's probably just a one-off. Pillman definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame despite not winning any WWE titles. He was a trailblazer for 205 Live. He was a big deal in WCW. I mean, he was tag team champions with Steve Austin, the Hollywood Blondes. He did very well for himself, and I think he was a big part in the shift towards the Attitude Era as well. Pillman's got a gun. I mean, look at that segment. Or really, those series of segments throughout the show. All right, caught up on the chat. Now, for those of you just joining or wondering, it's like, hey, how does this guy, Future Shocker, get his name up on this board? Well, if you look down here, streamlabs.com/luckofthedraw, if you send in a chat, if you send in a donation, you get your name up there. I'm still trying to figure out how this works. Just have to point the opposite direction. So, with that said, you get a chance to get your wheel spin if you send $20 that way, or if you send $20 by a super chat. With $20 donation, you get a fun little graphic right over here. And you want to see what that is, but you have to send the $20 through the Streamlabs, which I believe you can send money through PayPal that way. I believe. Don't quote me on that. I haven't done that in a while. Cherry Mark says Chris Benoit should be inducted when Vince dies. I doubt Benoit will ever be inducted. If you want to count the Four Horsemen's induction for Benoit, that's probably the closest you're going to get. Honestly. Yeah, Benoit will probably never go in unless it's found in some circles that Kevin Sullivan actually did murder Benoit and Nancy Benoit and their son. Otherwise, it's probably just not going to happen. Because you figure that's been 12 years ago and there's been nothing on that case. No other information on that case. So we'll see. All right, guys. What else you got for me? I want to spin this wheel. I want to give away a shirt. I really do. Because the more shirts I give away, the more shirt options I can provide. So get me some spins, baby. Antonio Jones, Chris Benoit is respected amongst his peers all the same. That's what matters. Ken terminated by Google. I still can't believe Benoit would do such a thing. If his brain was scrambled and effed, it's still no excuse for killing your kid. I still think there's something fishy with that. I honestly do. Maybe I'm like a conspiracy theorist on that, but it doesn't make sense. Especially with his... From what I've heard, his last message to Chavo was, it doesn't make sense that he knew what he was doing and was still conscious. It doesn't add up for me. I don't know if we'll ever know for a fact, but it just doesn't add up. Chris May says, who else besides Chris Benoit will never be in the Hall of Fame? I don't know. I don't know if CM Punk ever will. Because I don't know if he ever wants to... I don't know if he ever wants to reconcile. Cherry Mark says, Greg, I've wondered all along why when Eddie passed, why didn't Chavo get the push instead of Mysterio? They went with the person who was more over. And unfortunately for Chavo, well, here's the thing. When Eddie passed away, Chavo was still in the mix, in the midst of the Kerwin White gimmick. So he wasn't Chavo Guerrero. After Eddie passed, he reverted to Chavo Guerrero. And Mysterio was Mysterio, so it was probably an easier transition for Mysterio to get the push than try to explain why the Kerwin White character went away. Chris May said, where would you build a WWE Hall of Fame at? I'm surprised they don't build one in Stamford, honestly. Or why they just don't use the old Titan Towers as the site for it. Or somewhere in Florida, near the Performance Center. Chavo couldn't even get the Intercontinental title from my boy Shelton Benjamin. I actually just watched that Raw a couple days ago. The Raw after WrestleMania 22. It was eventful. I actually enjoyed the storyline, the triple threat storyline with Edge, Triple H, and Cena. It was good stuff. All right, guys. I'm probably not going to be on here for too much longer. Still hoping to give away a shirt. I want the wheel spin to happen so I can give away a shirt. WWE hates Nudie Q. Who wins Money in the Bank? My picks are men's Andrade and women's Sasha or Bailey. We'll have to see if Sasha and Bailey even make it to Money in the Bank. I hope if there's a... I think one of the women needs to win Money in the Bank to get one of the titles off of Becky. Cherry Mark says, Greg, do you eat at McDonald's? And Ken Terminated by Google says, any McChicken Marks. I'm a McChicken Mark. I think those are delicious. They're dollar chicken sandwiches. Just put some ketchup on it. Freaking amazing. Not a fan of mayonnaise on chicken sandwiches, though. I don't know why that's standard all of a sudden. It's like just chicken, bread, ketchup. That's all you need. Cena Triple H and Edge match was very underrated. Yeah, I was actually watching Backlash 2006 shortly after that. And I got to see... I don't know why I felt like reliving the Shawn Michaels and God match against the McMahons. How freaking, like... I don't know how Shawn agreed to that, honestly. That would have been tough to go through. Like Vince making fun of your religion on TV for a month. Ken Terminated by Google. I wish when McChicken was around $1. Yeah, they're around $1 here. I think they're on the dollar menu. Cherry Mark says, what was your favorite Owen Hart match? Either his WrestleMania 10 match with Brett or his SummerSlam cage match with Brett. Brett and Owen just work so well together. Not that Owen didn't work great with other people, but those two matches in particular were so good. And Ken says, or hold on first, Wexcalibur says, do you think they should change the women's titles to WWE Women's and Women's Universal and add the US and Intercontinental Women's titles? There's already too many freaking championships in WWE. They don't need more. My favorite Owen match, Ken says, is when he faced Bulldog for the first European title. That was an excellent match. Very good match. And Ken also says, if I was Shawn, I wouldn't agree with doing the God storyline, but Shawn wanted to build his reputation in WWE. Yeah, I mean, religion's a tough tightrope to walk, especially with what's considered offensive and whatnot. Granted, Shawn Michaels was a babyface fighting for his religion, but Vince making fun of it, it's like, okay. Like, this is crossing the line into uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Cherry Mark, favorite Jericho match. His Shawn Michaels match at WrestleMania 19. That was an awesome Jericho match. As my dog barks. I'm trying to think what's another incredibly solid Jericho match that I really liked. I mentioned the triple threat at WrestleMania earlier. His 2001 Royal Rumble match with Benoit, the ladder match. One of my favorite ladder matches of all time. When Jericho beat Triple H on Raw, Earl Hebner had to reverse it. That was also awesome. I've watched that. WWE hates no DQ. Favorite Sasha match? Sasha and Bayley, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. That's probably the best women's match of all time. Close second is their Iron Man match at NXT TakeOver Respect. Sasha and Bayley. Bret Hart versus Tom McGee. I only saw... Everybody thought Tom McGee was like so amazing because of the match he had with Bret Hart, but it was also probably Bret carrying him to that. Cherry Mark, favorite Jinder Mahal match. Probably the one he won the championship. Just because that was such a great moment for him. Chris Mace, should we have gotten a winner take all with Banks and Bayley as tag champs and Charlotte and Becky if they were both separate champions? The winner take all concept needs to stop. It's already been overkilled. People have been talking about more in the last couple weeks than they ever have, so I don't think it's necessary. Top 5 WWE favorites, male all time. Shawn Michaels, obvious number 1. You're going to be surprised with this one. Shane McMahon, AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, and see, when it comes to my top 5, Christopher Daniels is normally in there, but he was never in WWE for a long period of time. I hear you, Bang. Big G is here. Hey, you owe me money. Hey, Big G, if you want to get the most out of your $50 that you owe me, send me a Streamlabs. Send your money right there to the Streamlabs. It goes directly to me. And then you get a couple spins out of it, too. Who do I want to go with for my 5th? I guess I could go Brett. I could say Baron Corbin just to upset a bunch of people. Favorite TNA match? AJ, Daniels, and Joe. That would be it. I mean, that's the match that truly made me a Christopher Daniels fan. Along with his promos beforehand, I just think Daniels is the all-around package. He's my second favorite wrestler of all time, behind Shawn. Ken says, I love Brett, but I heard bad things from Solo Monster. Okay. WWE hates no DQ. Will Baron be moved to SmackDown for a fresh start? I kind of hope so. Like I said, I kind of hope he gets into a WWE Championship feud. Personally, I don't think there's anything left for him to do on Raw. Because he's already faced Seth for the Intercontinental title and failed, so he's not going to beat him for the Universal. So I think moving him to SmackDown and having him feud with Kofi at some point, not immediately, but at some point, and he's not, we don't need to see Balor Corbin any more than we already have. Move him to SmackDown, have him feud with Kofi, maybe through June, July, maybe even at SummerSlam. And maybe do something then. Personal opinion. I love the fact that the graphics have come up this stream, because I wasn't sure if they were going to. Oh, there we go. Cool. Those Streamlabs come pretty freaking quick. Nice. Have Corbin feud with Orton. Well, Orton still a heel though? And what's your concept, Ken? Shane can make Baron his muscle. That'd be good. I think Shane and Corbin would be a good unit together. Kofi versus Corbin at Saudi Arabia. I think that would be too soon. I really think it'd be too soon. I wonder if Owens and Zayn are on the same show. Will they reform as a team or feud against each other? They'll probably feud. Owens is... Zayn just established himself as a full heel. Owens has been more of a babyface. They did like something after SmackDown where Owens stunned Zayn. So... has Lars just appeared because Brock is now out of the picture? No, I think they were saving him for after WrestleMania anyway, whether Brock was back or not. He was supposed to be called up before the Royal Rumble, remember? And he had his anxiety attack and his debut was held back. So, no, I don't think this is just because Brock came back. I think it's because Mania has passed and now they want to bring him up. Who will Lars feud with first? Probably some lower mid-carder, just to make him look dominant. Because it's obviously not going to be Angle. Angle retired. It's not going to be the Hardys. They're tag champions. So who do you put him up against to make him look legit? I don't think it's going to be anybody fine. Ken says a lot of people crap on Sullivan's debut. I thought Lars was fine attacking Angle. I completely forgot about Lars Sullivan, honestly, until it showed his video that he was coming back. I wouldn't be surprised if WWE dropped the Sullivan name from Lars. Well, they haven't dropped the Strowman name from Braun. Of course, he's been around for years. He could just go by Lars, I guess. Yeah, I hate that they dropped the first and last name. It's like, if you're going to be known as something, be known as that and leave it alone. Yeah, Cherry Mark, I agree. I wish they would do the old WWE draft style. I really do. Look into my WWE Champions game. I don't know if anybody plays the WWE Champions game on their phones. I've been playing it. Actually, managed to pull a 4-star Becky Lynch out of it just a couple days ago, which was pretty awesome. Oh, brother. WWE hates no DQ. I think they will do a redraft before the Fox deal starts. Well, if you're going to do a redraft, then what's the point of the Superstar Shakeup? Because that'll basically be their redraft. They won't be able to do anything else. Unless people just randomly show up on the shows anymore, which I guess is completely possible. So, all right, I am a little disappointed we didn't get any spins today. I was really looking forward to doing some karaoke, doing some entrances, or giving away a shirt. I want to give away a shirt, guys. I want to give away one of my shirts. I really do. I know. Like I get the little super chats. I got a little couple super chats, but nobody wants to send the 20 for a spin. Which WWE draft was your favorite? I was mad when Cena got drafted to SmackDown and back to Raw. Yeah, that was kind of lame. It was pretty lame. Greg, what's your favorite WrestleMania event ever and why? 17. It's between 17 and 19. Those were both excellent cards, top to bottom. You have to save your money for Mortal Kombat 11. Could just wait till it goes on sale. Because it'll probably be like, I don't even know when that comes out. I played Mortal Kombat before. It's alright. 17 or 19 is probably my favorite WrestleMania. I'd say 28 because I was there. But that only had like a few decent matches. Fox said they wanted to have SmackDown to SmackDown only, and they wanted Ronda too. That's very possible. Ronda could go to SmackDown. You're a Mortal Kombat mark. Well, hey, I'm not going to hate on somebody enjoying something so much. WWE hates no DQ. Should Shane come out to Cult of Personality and piss off all the CM Punk marks? I think that'd be hilarious. Like, they play the music and then go right into Here Comes the Money and just upset people. Especially if they do that in Chicago. They need... I don't know if SmackDown's going to Chicago, but they totally should do that. Just to piss off everybody there. It would be so good. So good. Ken says, I like Injustice Series 2, but that's not a video game chat. It can be whatever you want. This doesn't have to strictly be wrestling. I mean, granted, a lot of the wheel stuff is wrestling, but that's because of the audience. I talk about whatever. Like, I've talked about video games on my live stream before. I talked about video games for like 45 minutes to an hour. I don't have a problem with that. Heck, I've been talking to you guys for 2 hours about wrestling and my beard, or lack thereof. If I had my head shaved bald, I'd look like freaking Scott Dawson. LeBron James said he wants a WrestleMania match one day. Thoughts, Greg? Well, you should probably focus on making the Lakers better first. What video game series do you mark for, Cherry? I wish they would come out with another Portal, because the first two were so good. I also enjoyed, which I know for a fact there won't be any more games from them, the Poker Night at the Inventory games. Because the company that made those, Telltale, went under. So, unfortunately, there will be no more of those. I like the Portal games. Obviously, I like wrestling games. I also enjoy the Mario Party series. They're just fun games to play. I do have, and no, I haven't played Fire Pro. Surprisingly, I've never played Fire Pro Wrestling. But I did pick up, I'll show you guys. Those of you know I like watching Up, Down, Down. So I actually picked up SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. Just so I could do GM mode with Travis when he's up here. I also got 2008 too. Because I think GM mode is 3. I'm pretty sure GM mode is 3 brands for that one. I have 2007 too, but I had that one for a while. I would like one of them to come up here. I don't know if you get, if you go to my channel, which is the Pensang Grid Jury, youtube.com/luckofthedraw, you can see that I also do a sarcastic commentary series, making fun of backyard wrestling. So if you have any backyard wrestling clips you want to send me, I'd love to make fun of them. I'd love to get my friend Bobby up here because the two of us are completely ridiculous. I need to upload some of the ones that we did together, so you guys can watch those. So go subscribe over there, youtube.com/luckofthedraw. You can see my game shows. You can see old backyard wrestling stuff that I used to do back in the day. You don't like the GM mode 2008, but it's an okay game. Yeah, I figured in the spirit of Up, Up, Down, Down, that Travis and I would can a bunch of episodes and then try and do it again. Ken Terminator would go, "You're anti-backyard wrestling fan? I can't argue with you." It's not that I'm anti-backyard wrestling, it's just so easy to make fun of. So I had a blast recording a bunch of backyard wrestling matches that are not technical classics by any stretch of the imagination. But when they're just so bad, you have to make fun of them. It's kind of like Mystery Science Theater 3000 for backyard wrestling. Can you imagine if I made fun of Grimm's Toy Show on my channel? Oh, that actually might be fun. That actually might be fun. I could. Would you guys like to see that? Would you guys like to see me make fun of Grimm's on my channel? He'd probably give me a bunch of crap because I'd be like talking over and stuff, but you need to let me know, because if that's a thing, I may like grab some of the stuff off there and be like, oh my gosh, this is awful. So yeah, you guys need to let me know if you want me to do a series on Grimm's. I don't know if like he complained I was quote unquote stealing his content, because it would be his videos, but it'd just be me dubbing stuff over it. I don't know if I get in trouble for that. But yeah, my sarcastic commentary series is over on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out. Have you seen any ICW events? I have not. I believe ICW is is that England? If it is, I don't get to watch many English indie feds. I barely get to watch any American indie feds. Alright, guys. Final plugs for this. I doubt I'm getting a spin in today, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Scotland. Yeah. I know a couple people that have gone to ICW events, but I'm not one of them. New backyard wrestling promotion called AEW. Alright, well, I'll be all in calling all those matches. But yeah, I'm going to upload some more tonight, hopefully. Go to the channel, youtube.com/luckofthedraw. Get me up there for 1,000 subscribers. I'm at like 800 some, but I think a lot of those are like people that don't even watch the channel. So once I get up to there, then I can get super chats and stuff on my channel. Follow me on there. I know it's not as popular as Rest live streams that he does, but it's fine. I'd like to get some. I want to get my YouTube channel off the ground, so that's what I'm trying to do. Alright, guys. I've been going for almost 2.5 hours now. And nobody wants to spin the wheel, Penson, today. It's okay. Maybe next week. But for that, I believe I have company now. So I'm going to have to take care of them. And yeah, I believe that's all I got for today. Yeah, go subscribe, Ken. Like I said, youtube.com/luckofthedraw, all one word. Go subscribe over there. If you subscribe before the end of the live stream, it'll pop up right here. And hopefully you guys can... hopefully you guys enjoy the content over there, so I can start live streaming over there so I don't have to steal all Rift's bandwidth. But I think that's it for today. Join me next week again when I do another live stream. It'll probably be Friday, honestly, because I don't work Fridays. We got a 4-day work week. What? I'll probably do one Friday because this weekend's got to be a little crazy, or next weekend's got to be a little crazy with Easter coming up. But other than that, follow me on Twitter at PA Sensation. Check out Wrestling Trivia Challenge Season 7. If you can believe that, whenever it comes out. Still a champion, 400 days tomorrow. So, until next time, I'll see you guys, and hope you enjoyed the live stream, and hope to see you next week. See you guys. Where's my mouse? There it is. There we go. See you guys.